Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Notre Dame Primetime Live. I am your host, Ryan Fravel. With me is a very special guest, Sean Moriarty from the Two Irish Brothers show on YouTube. It's been a little bit, it's been a while since we've done a show together, but it is a pleasure to have you hop on. For people wondering, Sean and Ben, they're busy right now. They've got stuff going on in life. So, but it's always a pleasure to have Sean on and do a show with him anytime. Sean, how you been, man? It's been a while.
I've been doing all right. I just kind of been feeling like every other Notre Dame fan right now. Not so happy with the 1-2 start. Watching certain things on the field that I know we'll get into here shortly, but it's been pretty good for the most part. Just staying busy doing the Two Irish Brothers show with my buddy Ben Wolters, and we've been trying to get a feel on this team just like everybody else and trying to figure out what's going on in certain areas. But overall, with life in general, can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, for me, sports teams have been kind of letting me down. I had high hopes for this Irish team. I still think we're trying to figure out what exactly this team is and how good this team is. It gives you hope when you see we lost on the road week 1 with a first-time starting quarterback in a hostile environment against Miami, and Miami looks like they could be back. Like the U could be back to national relevance. I think a lot of people, me personally, if I was ranking, I'd have them as the number 1 team in the country right now with the way they're playing. Texas A&M, they're a top 10 team currently. They're just coming off a bye week after getting the win against us, so we'll figure out more what they are as they get into their SEC schedule. They play Auburn at home this week, so a ranked versus ranked matchup. We'll see how they kind of stack up. And then Notre Dame, it's like you get those 2 positives, right? And you lose the games by a total of 4 points in heartbreaking fashion, right? And you kind of, as a fan, you're obviously pissed. You're upset. You're depressed. The team didn't meet expectations. And you try to be positive about it. You're like, oh, well, you know what? Notre Dame lost by a combined 4 total points against 2 top 10 teams. And then you see this performance last Saturday against Purdue, and 56 points. Awesome. Great. Realistically, we probably could have scored 80 on Purdue. I honestly, with how the seasons went, I wish we would have kept our starters out there in the fourth quarter and just put it on, because I think you do need style points, especially when you give up 30. But yeah, then you look at the scoreboard, and that's the thing that the eyesore is 30 points to Purdue. And I can't remember. I don't know about you, Sean. I can't remember the last time Purdue scored 30 on Notre Dame.
Me neither. It's been a while.
So yeah, go ahead. Give me your thoughts on just everything.
Well,
so far.
we said this. Ben and I said this on our recap to this game. And listen, whenever the Irish win, it's worth celebrating. I'm happy. Ben's happy. All Irish fans are happy with that aspect of it, I'm sure. And I'm going to use the same words that I used then. Not trying to be the typical fan that I hate, the typical Debbie Downer that finds stuff to complain about. But you can't ignore this. And I found a very troubling statistic that I'm not really sure how I feel about it. But we have defensively, we've allowed 98 points through three games. Now, granted, that last Purdue touchdown was in garbage time. I don't really count that, but you still have to officially count it. Mm-hmm. But 98 points that we've given up through 3 games. Last season, and I'm only including the regular season, not the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But we gave up last season, like, I believe 166 points all season. We are looking to equal that amount this year through half a season. Now, that gives me a very troubling vibe, and it sets a very troubling trend. If we're giving up 30 points to Purdue, and listen, I'm not saying that our schedule is the hardest going forward or anything like that, mm-hmm. but we have some teams on the schedule that can play and can put up some points. This weekend against Arkansas being a team like that, despite what their record says.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to win many games when one side of the ball is not doing its job. So this defense has to figure something out quick. Because listen, as much as I'm not trying to trash the offense here, but your offense can't put up 56 points every single game. It's not going to happen. So your defense is going to need to step up and help out and do its part.
Dynasty ISP, thank you for the comment, man. Thank you for tuning in. Says, what's up, guys? I think the defense will improve. In the end, they will perform at 75% of last season. The crazy part is, I don't even think they're performing at 10% of what the defense was last year.
No.
And that's the alarming thing to me, right? And you can tell me your thoughts on this too, Sean, is yes, you lost Watts. Yes, you lost Kaiser. Yes, you lost Mills and you lost Cross in the interior of the defense. You lost Ben Morrison, but realistically, you didn't have Ben Morrison for a majority of last season. Anyway.
Exactly.
You are returning a majority of that team that out-physicaled Indiana, out-physicaled Georgia, out-physicaled Penn State in the second half specifically.
Yes.
And arguably out-physicaled Ohio State later in the second half of the national championship game on defense. So the thing is, like, you could say, well, Al Golden left. Cool. I would understand if you lost the entirety of the defense and you're starting with new guys. These are the same guys. Adon Schuler started last year. He's a team captain. He looks significantly worse than he was last year. Drake Bowen, love the guy. Gives you a death hit every single game. But that's about all he gives you per game now.
Yeah.
He's significantly worse.
Devontae Smith, who comes in with experience from Alabama.
Worse. You bring in Jalen Stroman from Virginia Tech, who was an All-American at Virginia Tech. All of a sudden, he's benched. He can't play. Leonard Moore, even your best corner, he got torched against Miami. You never saw that from him last year. There's a problem. And I don't know. It's easy to point to Chris Ash, right? And I do think a big problem is Chris Ash.
Yes.
Right? But I did think it was interesting when Marcus Freeman did his press conference. I want to say it was either Tuesday or Monday. And he made the comment of Sunday in our coaches meeting, the defensive coaches meeting, it was very uncomfortable. And I didn't want it to be comfortable. And he said, I flat out told him, I said, we can either do this and come together and get this thing back on track, or we can do this and it won't be good for anybody. And he also brought up the fact that the players need to buy in. Makes me wonder if the Miami game happens and you're a Christian Gray, you're a Don Schuler, you're Drake Bowen, and you played and learned under Al Golden and his style of defense and what he wanted to run for multiple years. And you saw the benefits of it. You saw the success. You went to the national championship game with playing that style of defense. A new guy comes in, and his defensive philosophy is a complete 180. And then you have the mishaps on defense against Miami. And I almost wonder if, in the players' minds, when you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds, if it's, oh, shit. Well, this new guy came in. Our defense is worse. Why can't we just go back to what the defense we ran with Al Golden? I don't want to run this defense. It doesn't put me in the best position to succeed. And I could understand, because us as fans do it. That's been the talk ever since the season started against Miami was, well, why don't they just run what Al Golden ran? Freeman, just go back and run exactly what you ran last year. And I could understand maybe the players are feeling that way.
I don't know. I mean, of course, I certainly don't think that they would, do anything like mess up on purpose or anything like that.
Yeah,
That would be so stupid. But I think not only is it a new defensive coordinator, but here's something else that's very troubling to add on to what you were just saying. Mike Mickens is the one who coaches the defensive backs in particular. He's been there with Coach Freeman from the start.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden his backfield's playing like this. What is he stepping in there and doing to he's in the defensive backfield in particular, he should be picking up on this immediately. So does Chris Ash bear full responsibility? No. But that's even more troubling. Is okay. You could give Ash a pass on the fact that okay, he's new here to Notre Dame. It's his first time or his first year with the team. Mike Mickens has been there from the start. He has no excuse for his defensive backfield to be playing like this.
And
why they're playing like this, I don't know.
And if anyone has the if anyone has the say so and the cachet that the players are going to listen to him, right? If you're the DB and you are Christian Gray and you're not bought into the system, you're going to listen to what Mike Mickens is going to tell you more than you are Chris Ash, right? So I kind of see where you're going there, because if you're Mike Mickens and you notice your players aren't bought into the system, that's your job as a DB's coach, and say, hey, I don't care if you don't like what we're running. Suck it up, learn it, do it, and go out there and do it. And that's you get paid to do that. The concerning thing to me is, I don't know if you saw this, but during the game, when Purdue scored that touchdown right after we got the kickoff return for a touchdown, and you saw the thing where Freeman takes his headset off and he's pissed, and evidently, it was Jack Sobel, I want to say, from BGI, had made a post from the sideline, and he said, the troubling thing about that play was pre-snap, you had Freeman, Mike Mickens, and Chris Ash yelling at each other, yelling at the players on the field, and you had the players on the field were confused. They were shifting late. They didn't know where they were supposed to be. They didn't know what their assignment was. You had Christian Gray and Don Schuler yelling at each other, confused.
I saw a lot of crisscross.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that. I was at the Miami game in person. The amount of times that I saw Christian Gray and a Don Schuler get into it after giving up a big play on a 3rd and 13 for a first down, or a 20-yard pass, and instead of, hey man, what they did last year was pick their guys up, it was a lot of Christian Gray throwing his hands up, yelling at a Don Schuler, and a Don Schuler just going.
Yeah, and obviously, when I was watching on TV, we're not going to see all of that.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, you're a captain. Again, I played football. I know you did. We weren't captains. But I can imagine what it was like, because we had team captains on my team. I'm sure you had team captains on your team.
You did.
There is a certain responsibility that comes with the C on your chest. And I don't know about you. And again, it's still a young season. We're only 3 games in. None of the captains, to me, have shown the responsibility and have done their job as captains through the first 3 weeks of the season. I don't see leadership.